What's up, YouTube? It's your boy again, coming back to another video on this channel. As always, I'm the Rhino. Today we got another guest on the show. We have season 19 runner-up, awesomeness engineer, chef, all-around Hell's Kitchen killer. We have Mary Lou Davis on the show.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going really well. How are you?
Good, good. All is good in the world. Um, well, welcome to the show. I think I
Thanks for
covered, of
having me.
course, I think I covered your background pretty well. Did I miss
Yes.
anything?
I don't think so. That's pretty good.
All right, cool. With that being said, first question is, how'd you get into the culinary arts as a whole?
I think I got into culinary out of spite. Everybody else has their whole thing where it's like I was at my Nona's knee and then she was teaching me how to make pasta, or like I'm making family dinner. My biological father, who's not in my life now,
Right.
we would cook together. And then after that, he started like a whole nother family. And I think I just did it out of spite because he was in culinary school at the time and then he dropped out. And I was like, well, I'm gonna do it. And yeah, I just kind of took off from there. And then it was something that I realized I was actually good at and something that I could make a career out of. Because when I was younger, I didn't realize like food was a career. I just thought it was something that you had to get done, like something you had to eat, something that had to
Right.
happen. And when I was in high school, I was in home ec, and they were like, "You could be a chef." And I said, "For real? Okay, yeah, let's do that."
Yeah, that's the one class I wish I took in high school was home ec because I can't cook to save my life.
What'd you end up
Um,
taking?
I was a band student.
Oh, I thought you were gonna be like wood shop.
No, that's another class I wish I took.
I wish I took wood shop too. I feel like I would be so handy.
Yeah, especially with my career. Like, so funny enough is that after high school, I went and got my mechanical engineering degree, and then started working in construction. Funny enough, as a mechanical engineer. So I'm like, gotta take a wood shop.
It's like I'll figure it out.
Yep. Let's switch gears a little bit and let's kind of move on to your season of Hell's Kitchen. So what's the biggest thing or biggest misconception that people who like me who are watching Hell's Kitchen misunderstand about you after watching the show?
The biggest misconception, I don't know. The way that you saw me on the television show is the way that I act all the time. Even the guys in the kitchen at the time were like, "Chef, I'm not watching that because I see
Right,
that every day." And I said, "I don't know what you want from me. This is just who I am." So I don't
right.
really know if there's many misconceptions. There are a few things that weren't shown
Hmm.
that I wish were shown, but it's more for my own personal gain than anything. I think it's how people talk about the edit and how you're shown, because yes, things are edited in a certain way, but also you said those things, so let's not pretend like you weren't acting like that or you didn't say those things and somebody just spliced you together. I'm like, no, you said that. I was there when you said that. That's exactly how you said it. You're
Right.
just mad that it got caught. I know for one of the times, myself and one of the girls, I was talking shit about her behind her back and she heard me. And then she came over to me and she was like, "I didn't like that you said that." And I turned to her and I said, "You know what? I'm really sorry that I didn't say it to your face because I meant it. And you deserve to have this to your face because you're getting on my nerves." Like I just told her about
Damn.
herself because I'm not gonna, I knew it would get back to her, but that's rude. I should have said
Right,
it to her face, not
right.
just like, "Oh, let's talk about her behind her back." No, if I have something to say, I will tell you. No,
Damn.
I.
Damn. Um, Before going on Hell's Kitchen, what was your I might be I might actually make it as a chef moment?
I don't I don't know if I ever really had one. It's like once I set my mind
Right.
to being a chef, I did nothing else. So, like started in high school, my mom had to beg me to take my SATs because I was like,
Wow.
"Mom, chefs don't need SATs. I'm gonna go work in a restaurant." And she was like, "Please take your SATs." So I took them. I went to culinary school, but after I went to university because I ended up
Right.
getting a full ride. So
Ah,
then
yeah.
I did that with like hospitality management, focus in restaurants, a minor in communications. Then I went to culinary school, and I've always just been in the industry. I've only had one job that wasn't in the industry, and I was in high school when I worked at a bank. And I'm
Wow.
dyslexic, so I got fired pretty quickly. I kept
Oh,
mixing up the numbers.
right.
And after that, I just like I stayed in it, and I went from like being a server to being in the back of house. I've done bartending, I've done shucking, I've been a hostess, I've been a front of house manager, I've done all the positions in the kitchen. Like my first kitchen job was a dishwasher where I would wash dishes in the at night, and they'd let me prep in the morning. And
Right.
I love the kitchen. I love the entire act of eating itself. I like chewing, I love tasting, I love swallowing, I love smelling, I love breaking things apart with my hands. Like everything that is around food, like that's all I want to do. Do I consider myself a chef? I think anybody can consider themselves a chef nowadays. I think that food is subjective, and what I may think is the most delicious thing I've ever had, you could think is disgusting. So it's all your perception.
Right. I mean, in a similar boat, I actually started I actually started this podcast back in the dark days of COVID. And I said dark days of COVID, yes. Actually, this is my third YouTube channel now that I think about it. My first one's all about food and travel because I like eating and traveling and going everywhere for the same exact reasons that you
Just like
mentioned.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
think
the
about it.
vibe is fun.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, wow. Just finally connected the dots a bunch of years later. With
You
that,
just do what you love.
exactly. With that being said, like you mentioned that you worked a whole laundry list of positions within the restaurant industry, from hostess to back of house and all that stuff. What's your favorite position if you had to pick one?
Oh, my favorite position is a line cook.
Ah, okay.
The more that you grow into your career, the less you are cooking. Like
Right,
I'm designing menus and I'm doing small things, but it becomes more operational, which I get it because now I have the knowledge to do more things. But to just clock in and then turn your back on the world and then just start cooking is there's something really good about it because I know when I'm having a really rough day, I'll kick one of the guys off the line. I'm like, go work this station. I want to work right here. I just want to keep
right,
my head down. I want to think. It just becomes rhythmic, you know?
right,
So I did all the front of house stuff just because I wanted to see the restaurant as a whole, but also I had started out like it's like getting odd jobs during the holidays. Most people
right.
aren't going to hire you in the kitchen if you're only going to be able to work for a couple months, but you can get a front of house job for a couple of months when it's busy.
Exactly.
And that's how it goes to this day. When people, the delivery men will come in and I'm in my full chef coat and they will go to the first man that they see because everyone thinks I'm the host.
Ah,
I hate that. I'm
damn.
not the host.
So, is there? I don't mean to be inappropriate when I ask this question, but like, is there a level of sexism in the culinary industry?
I think so. I honestly think that there always will be. It's really
Right,
funny because when I started growing in the industry, I would always hear like, yeah, we need a woman's touch. And I used to hate that. I hated that so much. I'm like, no, why is it a woman's touch? Like, I'm just a different person. It doesn't matter that I'm a woman. But then the more I started to like grow, some places do need a woman's touch. And it
right,
doesn't mean something that's softer. It's just a different set of eyes of somebody that's grown up completely different. And it's like I'm seeing things that other people aren't seeing, not necessarily that I speak calmer to everybody or that I'm nicer. It's not that at all. I feel like I'm just as intimidating as the other men that are on there. I'm just in a smaller package.
right,
But also, just growing up in my career, I remember I would dress myself down because I didn't want people looking at me a certain way. I didn't want people thinking that I got the job just because I was pretty, because I had a chef tell me that once. And I was like, why did you hire me? It's like my first big girl job, and I was really excited to have it. And he goes, well, you're nice to look at. And I ended up quitting that job. Or just like you're really close in the kitchen. I remember I'd hugged my chef one time and I was like, yeah, today was a great day. And like the way he was just feeling on my back, he's like, oh, you have this small dip in your back. That's interesting. And I'm like, what's going on right now?
right.
I was just like, great day today. And instead, you're thinking of something else. So that definitely does happen in the kitchen. The guys can be very profane. The only thing is, you have to set that boundary. I've worked with someone that will let the guys talk any which way to them. And I'm like, if you aren't going to stand up for yourself, I'm not going to stand up for you. She's like, this is just how they talk. Tell them you don't like that. And they won't do it again because if they do, then they will have to deal with me. But the guys joke with me a lot different than they'll joke with anyone else. I'm like, I'm not going to talk about it. You don't talk about it. When I leave, do whatever you want. But right now, I was like, you are in my presence. Don't do that.
Okay, cool. Um, Kind of shifting gears a little bit. Um, you, what's your comfort meal after a brutal day?
I have these Filipino ramens, right? And so when
Uh,
I live in San Antonio now, but I was living in California and I went to Seafood City and they sell like these little six
California West
pack.
Side.
I went and I bought these six packs of these Filipino ramens and it's the calamansi flavor. I
Right.
have other flavors, but I don't know what it is. I'm afraid I won't like it. So I keep going back to the calamansi. And the thing is, I think before I moved, I brought in a giant box and I went to Seafood City and I took as many as I could. I spent like $100 just on instant ramen because I'm
Yeah.
afraid I'll run out. But now since I've moved back, there is a Filipino market, and I had told one of the chefs about it. And they're like, "Oh, we sell that at the market." I said, "Thank God," because I'm running short. So now I go in, and it has like very little broth, and I make the most disrespectfully fried egg. The edges are crispy, the inside's almost cooked
Ah,
all the way. And I love it. Cover it with I make my own chili oil, so I'll cover it
right.
with my own chili oil. And I was like, that's what I want. If there's any leftover protein that I have in the fridge, I'll either add that in. I eat a lot of tinned fish, so sometimes I'll just bust one of those open and I'll have it with my ramen. Like that's my comfort meal.
Right. Going back to what you said earlier, you mentioned that your only job that you didn't have in the culinary industry was working at a bank, which you was cut short because of your dyslexia, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right. With that being said, and I apologize if I'm coming off the wrong way, does your dyslexia affect your culinary arts? Because I know, at least from my point of view, it's kind of like you take measurements of like certain ingredients and mix it together to make a meal. So I'm trying to figure out
That one doesn't it doesn't affect me too much in the kitchen. It affects me more when I expo because it's the
okay,
word. So if I see a ticket,
right,
sometimes I will see the letter P and the letter
right,
P, there are like three different dishes that start with a P and then my mind will think of it as something else. So I'm like, "Oh, P, it's this one." And I have to go back and be like, "Oh no, it's the different P dish." So I have to just sometimes I have to slow down and read, but
right,
whenever we are like into the thick of things,
right.
it's all about going fast. When it comes to recipes, not so much because I know to go back and double check them.
Hmm.
Because, yeah, it's more, honestly, I think it's the numbers. When it came to the bank, I'd mix up like the last two numbers or the first two numbers or something like that. So
Okay,
we'd be missing like $10,000 at the end of every shift, and everybody just got sick of waiting for me. And I remember one time this man called and he was like, and I talked to her and she said this. And I was like, yep, I said all that. Was I not supposed to? And they're like, "Hey, Mary, you are so nice."
right,
I was like, "No, you guys are right. I shouldn't work here. I'm so sorry." It's
yeah.
just like a work study thing at school, so I took it.
Ah, that makes more sense.
But
Okay,
otherwise, when it comes to recipes, nah, I just double check my work because I know who I am. But
right.
when I have to go fast, like I'll make something up in my head while I'm reading. Or if I can't, sometimes I'll think about something while I'm reading, so I won't retain anything that I read.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So switching gears again back to kind of more the Hell's Kitchen you were on TV. How was your experience on the show? Because at least from my perspective, it seems like, excuse me, it seems like it was very stressful, very like Marine boot camp almost, or like Navy SEAL
It
boot camp.
was. It was very stressful. The kitchen itself is already so stressful. The only thing is you're usually working with a bunch of other degenerates and you're having a really good time with each other. And when it came to the show, I mean, I was terrified to be on there. I didn't understand why I was there in the first place.
Right.
Before I left, my GM was like, "They're only putting you on that show because you're entertaining. They're going to put you up against people that you're just going to lose against." So I was already in a mindset that I didn't belong there. And when I get really nervous, I get really quiet, but I also like, I shiver. Like it looks
Right.
like I'm really cold. So if you ask some people, they're all like, "You just seemed like you were cold," and it's like I kind of shake when I'm really really nervous. So I was nervous a lot of the time. I
Right.
didn't want to prove to my GM that he was right, but it wasn't that like motivating where I'm like, I'm gonna make sure that you're wrong. It wasn't like I just fully believed it. And I
Right.
had to like talk to myself. And honestly, I had one conversation with Chef Christina. It wasn't just me, it was all of us, but I felt like I heard it the most, right? And she was like, take it one day at a time. Just wake up here every day. And so that's all I could do. I was like, I'm just gonna wake up here every day, and every night before I'd go to sleep, I would practice what I was gonna say because Gordon's always like, "Why do you deserve to stay here?" And so every night I'm like, "Okay, if he asked me, this is why I deserve to stay here." And every day I would add on more and more and more until I had my thing completely rehearsed. And one of the things is I actually got to say the speech, but they edited that part out when it was like the final three with myself, Corey, and Declan, and they were
Right.
like, "Why do you deserve to stay?" Each person,
Right.
and then I was like, I said it, and I was like, "Finally, I've been practicing this every night," and that was
Right.
edited out.
That's cool. What's the most stressful service that viewers don't or didn't fully understand on TV?
The most stressful service?
Yeah.
No, it felt like it's so long ago. Maybe the first one was the most stressful because they give you they give you your book, you read the recipes, and you have like an hour to understand the recipes. Then
Right.
you come in and you start prepping everything, and then they go through and they show you how to make everything one time. They're like, pay attention. And then after that, it's like, okay, go. The good thing about it is even though they do it like that, there's two of y'all in each station, so you
Right.
have one person to help the other.
Okay.
And that's the only thing that made it better was that I had somebody with me. So if I misunderstood, but I worked with a good group of girls and we were all one team. There were
Right.
a couple of people that were more out for themselves, but for the most part, the team carried the other two.
Okay. You want to say who was out for themselves or no?
I won't be that
Okay.
person.
Okay. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna push. Um, was so once the camera stopped rolling, was Chef Ramsay different or no?
No, he's always the same. It's
Okay.
like the only time that he's different is when he's in service and out of service. The
Okay.
cameras don't really affect the way he is. If anything, he controls what's going on. Nobody ever told him, Gordon, you need to come over here. He'd say something, he's like, nope. And then he would say it again. He's like, come over here, you do this, you move there, Mary Lou, turn your head. And I was like, oh shit. Because I didn't realize he was watching me. So like Gordon, that's his show. He's most definitely in control. But
Right.
he's always the same. In or out of the kitchen is the only time he's different. And then I
Right.
always knew if we were doing something interesting or not because I would look at his shoes. So he'd wear his chef shoes if we're going to be doing a lot more things in the kitchen, and then
Right.
he would wear his Jordans if we were going outside. I was like, oh, Jordans today. I can relax.
What's one moment from the show that you wish was aired or wish had aired?
Um, I wish that my monologue would have got aired when I talked about why I
Yeah.
deserve to stay. And then there's one time where I feel like they didn't show all the times that I got an attitude with somebody. It's
Ah,
just like there's like 5 or 6 times that I ended up getting an attitude, and it was never shown. I'm like, oh man, I wish you would show that because then I seemed really strong, like I can stand up for myself, and I don't need to be protected. But there's one
right,
time in particular myself, I think it's the top five. So it's Cody, Corey, Declan, and Amber. And we're outside and we have to pick someone to nominate for elimination, but
right,
nobody could pick anybody. And then Chef Christina came outside and she's like, you guys need to stop playing around and just pick somebody because we all want to finish. And so she
right,
goes back inside. And I looked at everyone. I said, all right, guys, just stop pussyfooting around. And this is what I'm going to say. So you guys figure out what you're going to say too. Because I was getting annoyed as well
right.
because I knew who I was voting for. And I think everybody was like, I don't want to say it because I don't want everybody to be upset with me. And I was tired. I was like, I want to go to bed. Just say it.
Dang. So obviously you end up finishing behind Corey as number two in your season. Prior to that, did you ever seriously consider just saying F this, I'm out?
No, not one time. I every day I couldn't believe that I was still there. And I was like,
Right.
are you serious? Because like I told you, I didn't have any faith in myself for like the
Right.
first, I don't know, like 7 episodes. So every day I'm like, that's crazy that I'm still here, that
Right.
I'm doing such a good job. And like, I don't know, I just started to believe in myself more and more and have all this like this hope. And
Right.
I was excited. When my door didn't open, you know how when you watch Maury and they're like, you are not the father, and the woman runs, and you're like, why does she always run? I get it now. You just gotta get out of there. So
Okay.
I know that the knob turns, okay? They
Right.
have it where both knobs turn. You just can't push through the door.
Right.
So I tried to run, and then Gordon had grabbed me, and he was just like telling me about myself. He's like, "It's just not your time right now. You know, you're so great at what you do.
Right.
Don't stop. Keep learning." And that's I just really took it to heart. And it's like, just keep trying, keep going, keep
Right.
learning.
Okay. That's very cool. Very inspirational words from one of the greatest chefs ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who were you most surprised? Who surprised you the most once the filming started?
Nikki surprised me the most. Not because she had the least amount of experience. It
Mhm.
was just the flip from how she started to where she was like that first day Nikki was like nervous and crying and things kept happening. And I was like, "Oh God, this is all going to go downhill for her." And she didn't let it stop her. I found Nikki so inspiring. I was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to let one bad thing bring me down. I'm going to just show up and keep going." So, Nikki surprised me the most, but it was a happy surprise. Like I was rooting for her.
Nice. During the entire season, how much sleep did you get?
I think maybe between like 5 and 7 hours a day.
Okay.
So they have you in those dorms, boys on the left, girls on the right, and the lights never fully go off because the cameras always need to be rolling just in case something happens.
Right.
And so I just had a little IMAX, and one of my superpowers is I can sleep anywhere. So when I tell myself to go to sleep, I go to sleep. But I know Amber had a hard time going to sleep because she's like sensitive to light or sensitive to sound. So she was having a rough time with it. Jordan didn't like to be woken up aggressively. So if
Right.
you do that, Jordan was in a mood the entire day. So I'd always wake Jordan up. Once Sai got eliminated, because Sai would wake her up and we'd be
Right.
real nice. And then when Sai was eliminated, then I would wake her up and I'm like, "Hey, buddy." I would actually sing "Rake It Up" by Yo Gotti to her, but I would sing "Wake It Up," and then she would like smile, and I was like, "I'm gonna make you some coffee, but it's time to get up." And
Right.
she's like, "Okay." So
Yeah.
I've I did my best. On Sundays, we got the most sleep though, because on Sundays is the one day where they're not filming. So
Right.
they put you into a hotel, but they put you one by one so that nobody knows what hotel room anyone's in. And
Right.
then you have no phone, no laptop, no computer. I had a radio, but like one of the dial radios, I had to like
Yeah.
find where I was going. But we would all just sleep. I think I'd sleep for like 12 hours, take a shower, go back to sleep, take a shower, go back to sleep.
Dang. That's a lot of sleeping on a Sunday.
You had to get what was going on through that week because they keep you deprived.
Right.
You get there, you're getting up at 8 to get ready for your challenge at like 9 or 10. Who really knows? Because they took away all the clocks. So
Right.
I didn't know what was going on. Jordan had a watch though, and so she would look at her watch. And then
Right.
when she got eliminated, I would wear the watch. When any of my friends got eliminated, I would take one of their things and I would wear it.
Right.
So I was wearing Jordan's watch for a while. And I was like, "What time is it?"
Yeah.
They'd wake you up, you get ready, you do your mic check, we go out online, you do the first challenge, then the person who wins goes to the reward, the other person goes to punishment, and then you're starting to set up for service, and
Right.
then you have service, and then you have the elimination. But in all that time, they're also calling you back one by one to do commentary, and
Right.
sometimes it's going all night long.
Right.
For me, I would know. I'm like, I didn't do anything interesting this episode, so they're not going to talk to me. So I would just go to bed.
Right. That makes sense.
And I was like,
Um,
I didn't do anything interesting.
with that all being said, your personality became easily one of the fan favorites of your season. Were you aware while filming that people would connect with you like that?
No, not at all. The way I like that's just how I am. That's how I talk to people.
Right.
I nothing about me had changed. So when so many people later on were like, "Mary's so funny, Mary's doing all this," I was like, "Is she?" Because she's just living.
Right.
But it was exciting.
Nice. Since your show or since the season aired, what's the weirdest fan interaction you had?
The weirdest fan, I still get fan mail, so that's fun. Sometimes they show up to the restaurant.
Nice.
I still get people that show up that want to take pictures and let's see. I've had some kids dress up like me for Halloween. That one was really cute. I get some fan art. Fucking love the fan art because
Right.
I'm into like anime and cosplay. So when they draw me, I'm like, yes, this is great. So I
Right.
save all the fan art. I think it's fucking dope. I know during COVID, one of the reasons why I ended up really making sure that I got my vaccination was because people kept coming up and hugging me. Because
Right.
when they watched me on the show, everybody, I guess, felt like they knew me because I reminded them of their best friend, of their daughter, of their niece. And
Right.
so many people were always just acting like family to me and just touching me and like not inappropriately, but like touching me and hugging me and talking to me. And it was like I didn't there wasn't a lot of space and I needed space. And so I wasn't used to that.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense. Um, what's like how was COVID how did COVID affect the show?
COVID pushed the show back, and then COVID also had it where the winner was announced in overseas before it was announced over here in the United States. And
Oh,
so everybody ended up already knowing that I had lost. Believe there was like a contract in place where the United States would air it from this time to this time, and
right.
then around this time, overseas would air it. And so, because of COVID, we got pushed back, but the contract was still legit overseas. So it's like, hey, well, now it's our time to air it, and we're gonna air it.
Right.
So I was getting messages like abroad where they're like, "You were robbed. You should have had this," and I was like, "How do you know?" And I was like, "Oh crap."
Yeah. Would one if if Hell's Kitchen had no cameras, no consequences, what chaos do you think would have happened?
I know that Cody and Nikki were trying really hard to make hooch. At one time, they were like getting the pineapple scraps and they were fermenting it because they were trying to make their own alcohol
Oh
because
God. Mm.
we're not allowed to drink. The only
Right.
time we could drink is if at the end of the night that we have like our fridge and like you can tell the TAs what to get and they'll buy all the things. And so they kept buying beer, but I don't like beer. I like bubbles, I like prosecco, champagne
Right.
cava, so I wouldn't drink it. And then we couldn't have anything hard either. So they only had like beer and they even bought Jordan non-alcoholic beer, but I couldn't get like, a nice wine cooler or something.
Nice.
It's fine. What was the question? I forgot.
If there was no consequences, no cameras on Hell's Kitchen, what chaos would have happened?
Oh, Declan and Mark would have gotten a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have fought because there was a lot of like screaming and yelling, and I was just in the background watching, like, holy crap.
Yeah, actually, when he was on the show, maybe like a year or so ago, I actually asked him about his relationship with Mark and and how he felt, and it was really interesting to hear what he had to say.
Mm. Like they were, they was
Mm.
just arguing.
Yeah.
I was just innocent bystander. I was just trying to survive.
Yeah. Right. So moving on, who who do you think or who would survive longer in the kitchen? Like more like the comedian, funny guy, or like the athlete? Because I know Christina was a basketball player at one point, and she ended up winning her season.
Um, I don't really know that all really depends because it's not necessarily I'm an athlete, so I'm stronger so that I win, or
Yeah.
I'm funny, so I'm charismatic and I'll get through it. It's it's can you handle it? It's the teamwork. Because a lot of people that are funny are usually pulling from a place of pain, so they've been through hard times, but also athletes are used to like the conditioning. So it could be either or. It just goes into not necessarily your experience in the kitchen,
Right.
but can you handle what's going on? Can you take the criticism? Can you take the heat? Can you go faster? Can you work as a team?
Right.
It doesn't really depend. It doesn't really matter your background. Honestly, Christina told me that the kitchen is where is where introverts go to be extroverts. And one thing that makes me different is that I can go from front of the house to back of the house. When you meet a lot of these like guys from back of the house, they don't like all this attention. They don't like talking to people. They have their small group. They're just like a bunch of fucking nerds.
Hey, 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 hey. Nerds are awesome. I'm a nerd.
I mean, I'm a nerd too, but
Same.
they're my nerds, but
Yeah.
they're a bunch of fucking nerds.
Yes, ma'am. Um, Kind of shifting gears slightly. What's your most controversial food opinion?
I think matcha tastes like dirt.
I agree.
I
I
think
agree
matcha
with
tastes
that.
like I hate it.
Yeah. So,
Mm.
kind of moving on more into the cooking and industry as a whole now. What separates a good cook from a real chef?
Um, I think a good cook knows that, or I think a chef knows that you don't know everything,
Right,
but you know where to find the answers.
right.
And then a good cook is somebody that can take constructive criticism
Hmm.
as well as learn from the people around them.
That makes sense. Um,
Because you have to be willing to work with everyone. It's not your say that is everything. And you need to know that there are times where you're going to be wrong. And a good cook has humility, but a good chef also has humility as well.
right. So, what's the hardest thing that some yeah, oh, sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to ask this question.
Okay.
What's the hardest thing to teach someone in the kitchen?
Speed. It's very hard to teach speed. I have a couple of guys in the kitchen right now.
Right,
They're so nice. Their food is so pretty. They can't go fast enough. And I'm
right,
like, you have to go faster. I can't have two people working one station when it's one person's job. And teaching speed is very hard. And then teaching maturity is hard because I feel like maturity comes with time because
right,
I also have another guy in the kitchen that he can be really good, but he's so immature and sometimes he lacks his professionalism that he's not the leader I know that he can be.
Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting way of thinking about it.
He can be, he's got the potential to be so good. He just needs to reel it in.
Right. In your opinion, is the restaurant culture improving, or is burnout still the norm?
Oh, it's ¿por qué no las dos? You know, it's both of it.
Okay.
Uh, I've been interviewing several people for the restaurant. It's so funny because they're
Yeah.
all like, "Well, I just want you to know that I left the industry for a bit." And I said, "Don't we all?
Yeah.
We all burn out and we all leave." But most of us always come back because like I left the kitchen and then I started doing my own thing for a while. And then I kept finding myself with like a part-time job in the kitchen. You know, I
Right.
just couldn't stay away from it. I just wanted to be around it. I like the hustle and bustle. I like the shit talking. I like everything that is about the kitchen life itself. It's so fun.
Right.
But the hours are long and the pay isn't as great because it's going through food. And I know that a lot of people think, well, this restaurant is making so much money doing this, and that. They should pay the cooks more. And a lot of places now are having it where cooks are being able, or just the hourly employees themselves, are being able to get insurance at a really good rate. Where before, like that's just not something that you saw. Like my restaurant, because I'm in Texas, doesn't do sick days. But when I was in California, it's
Right.
like you could have a sick day if you needed it. You just had to call. It's not necessarily the mentality that it used to be, where it's like I can't call out. You know, one time I missed my mom's wedding because my mom ended up eloping because I couldn't get enough time off because I just couldn't leave the kitchen. I'm like, they need me. I
Right.
need to be here these 5 days. Like if I'm not there, it's all gonna go down. And that's before I was the chef of the restaurant. I was just another line cook. You just build that mentality.
Right.
It's hive mind. It's gang life sometimes. Because I know my kitchen's like a little gang. They have my back.
Yes, ma'am. Um, Obviously you've been in the culinary industry for several years now at this point. What ingredient instantly tells you someone knows what they're doing?
Which ingredient?
Yeah.
Huh. I think spices is a really big one. So when somebody's using a different type of spice, like I'm partial to like cumin, coriander, and sumac. Like I love those, and I use a lot of fish sauce. That's just what I like. But if somebody's using more than just like salt, pepper, and paprika,
Right.
that always gets me. Herbs, if people know how to use herbs the right way, I was like,
Right.
what?
But
Somebody's been doing this.
but if you had to pick one ingredient, just one.
If I had to pick one
Yeah.
ingredient, I don't know if I can. I mean, we're all coming from
Right.
different backgrounds, and if I see you using something, is that just because you grew up with it, or is it because you found it? I don't know.
Right.
I'll say fish sauce for being in San Antonio, but
Right.
when I was in California, there's a very large Asian community, so everybody was using fish sauce.
Agreed. I mean, I was born and raised in California, born in Los Angeles, raised up in the Bay Area. So that's why like I'm a golden boy through and through. And like I'm from the Bay. That's where I spent most of my life. And like you said, fish sauce here is just something else, man. Oh.
Just a giant, it's a staple. And then everybody is very partial or passionate to the type of fish sauce that they use, whether it's
Exactly.
like three squid, three crab,
Yeah,
red boat, it's like, no, I
exactly.
use this one. I'm like, oh, well, shit.
Yeah. So what's a simple, and I'm using the word simple kind of loosely, that's actually incredibly hard to perfect.
Something simple that's hard. An omelet. Like
Yeah.
anything with eggs is
Right,
really hard to perfect. I know one of my friends, he said that when he was staging at some of the restaurants, like
right.
one specific restaurant, I can't tell you the name, not because I don't want to, I can't remember,
Yeah,
but he was staging at this Michelin restaurant and they had him make an omelet,
mhm,
and it's just because they're watching the way that you cook the eggs. And he ended up getting
right,
the job, but the other two Sajas with them, they didn't get it because they either overcooked it or the edges are
right,
too crispy, it's too dry, the inside doesn't have the proper amount of curds. Like that is making eggs. I think that's why if you read Julia Child's cookbook, she
right.
has like a whole chapter that's just dedicated to eggs because eggs are really interesting.
Yeah. And talking about Julia Childs is a freaking badass. I didn't, so the one thing
Wasn't she though?
I didn't know this until like maybe last week, that you know what she did before she got into culinary arts?
Wasn't she a spy for the military?
She was a CIA agent.
Yeah.
Essentially, I'm like, wait, what? One of the baddest women in the world was a killer? Really? Like, damn.
Exactly. Don't fuck with Julia Childs.
Exactly. Um, so since you mentioned earlier that you lacked a little bit of confidence because of your former GM and all that stuff heading into the show. Since the show, did your confidence change or no?
Yes. I feel a lot more confident in
Yeah.
myself now. Um, Definitely I still overthink and get nervous and have my anxiety. Like anytime I have a pop-up, I'm like, no one's gonna come. Everything's gonna suck. I always get like real sad and nervous, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all these people that showed up. You guys are crazy. So
Right.
I like my confidence struggles back and forth, but I have to. It's the whole fake it till you make it thing. I saw this
Right.
thing with Jennifer Lewis, and she was talking about how just being down on yourself and not believing in yourself is so boring. And I was like, I'm not boring. You're right. She's like, cut that shit out. I hate it. And I was like, okay. So then she wasn't talking to me. She was talking to somebody else. But
Right.
it just like, it hit me. And so whenever I started to get down on myself, I'm like, that shit's boring, Mary. Okay. Just go. Just go.
Right. So to kind of flip the script a little bit, what did failure teach you before success ever did?
Failure taught me what not to do.
Hmm.
Failure taught me to try again. Failure taught me to believe in myself.
Right.
Failure taught me to try to learn more.
Yeah.
Failure taught me it's not the end.
Right. Have you ever struggled with between balancing your ambition of being a chef and trying to grow professionally and your personal life?
All the time.
Yeah.
I struggle with that constantly. It's like I I watch a lot of anime and I cosplay and I used to play video games and I just stopped because I don't really have the time. But like
Right.
I used to have a YouTube channel where I would just cook foods from different animes and I would cosplay in them. And it's just fallen by the wayside because I find myself with no time where it's
Right.
like I'm at the restaurant 6 days out of the week. Sometimes I'm there from like 10 to 12 to 13 hours a day and I come
Right.
home and I'm just tired. Like part of me wants to hire a housekeeper because I'm tired of cleaning. I want to pay somebody else to do that. I was
Right.
like, I can't come. Like there's laundry behind me that I have to do today, and I don't wanna. I just want to sit. I want to just get in the bed and watch the latest season of Jujutsu Kaisen because I haven't seen any of it because I've
Right.
been saving it. And I like just finished watching Gen V, so I'm ready to watch The Boys. But I'm like, you know what, Mary? Why don't you wait 2 more weeks? Because it's gonna be over, and you can binge that shit too.
Right. On a slightly different note, what's your favorite anime?
Yu Yu Hakusho is my favorite anime.
I agree with that. I grew up on that as well. That's a good anime.
I watch it once a year. I feel like I never finish it. The last two episodes, I don't know why, I just can't. But you know,
Yeah.
the tournament arc is everything. Both
Agreed.
both tournament arcs are everything. I was like, I
Yeah.
fucking love this shit. I tried to get my boyfriend into watching it, and then he just couldn't get into it. Cause you know, the first couple of episodes, like he's sitting there, he's laying down, he's glowing, he's dying. Keiko's coming over, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, he's glowing! I have to kiss him." And my boyfriend wasn't getting it, and I was like, "Hey, get past these 3 episodes because it's about to go down." And he's like,
Agreed.
he's on his phone. He's not watching. It was like pissing me off. You better respect my
Yeah.
favorite show. Okay, Yusuke, you're a meshi. Respect him.
Yeah. Since getting national recognition from your season of Hell's Kitchen, what's kept you motivated?
Um, Not falling behind
Right.
keeps me motivated. I hate that I care so much about the opinions of others, but sometimes sometimes I get nervous that if I ever were to go back and I didn't do a
Right.
good job, I would let so many people that believe in me down.
Right.
And so it's like if there's ever a chance or ever a time I need to show that I'm still growing and I'm still learning and I'm still being that person that people believed in because I get messages from like little girls that are telling me that they'd never seen someone that looked like me or looked like them doing what they wanted to do and how I inspired them and I I do it for the little girls.
Right.
And it's like they like that I'm outgoing and loud and weird, and I watch anime and I curse at people and I drink champagne and I laugh at things. You know, it's like
Right.
I like that you're you because it makes me want to be me. And I love that
Agreed.
shit.
Agreed. So what version of you walked into Hell's Kitchen? What version walked out?
The version of me that walked into Hell's Kitchen was really small. I think that's why I hate watching my season. My
Right.
friends and my family say that they don't see it, but I see such a small person. Like
Right.
I'm inside myself and I slowly start to get bigger,
Right.
but I still feel so small when I watch it. I'm like, look at me now who's more confident, who's trying new things, who's pushing. The person who left was very tired,
Right.
but she was also very proud. So
Right.
I was like, I fucking did that. I fucking did that.
Right. That's good. What's so out of all your all your fellow contestants from your season, Declan, Corey, everyone else, who was your favorite to work with?
My favorite to work with,
Yeah.
Jordan.
Nice. Why?
Yeah, Jordan and Nikki are my favorite to work with. I still talk with Jordan, and usually if I do events where Jordan's at, I'll call her up and she'll come and work with me. Jordan's just, she's just down to earth.
Right.
She like she always says what's on her mind. I used to her eyebrows are so expressive, so I'd always tell her to fix her face. And I was like, dude, we could tell that you're mad right now. Like I just built a bond with Jordan and she's just real, she's just nice. And it's the same thing with Nikki. Like I never felt like I was competing with those two. I always felt like I was just working alongside them. And
Right.
that's one thing that I really appreciated from my season because I never felt like any of us were out to get each other. Well, I can't say that, but I
Right.
most of us weren't out to get each other. I felt like my team was actually a team because we had talked about it. It's like, look, until it's the final two, we're all one team because we all want to succeed. And everyone's like, that's it. So if somebody needed help, somebody would go over and help that person. If somebody didn't understand something, they'd go over there. I know there's like one episode, it was like the Italian food episode,
Right.
and Nikki got salt and boca And she's like, "What is that?" And all of us are like, "I don't know. What what is saltimbocca?" And so we were all trying to figure it out so we could tell her so we could help her. And I remember that Chef Christina was like trying to tell us, but she couldn't tell us, you
Yeah.
know? And so she had like walked by, I think, some prosciutto and just stopped and then looked at us and then she just kept walking and we're like, "What does
Hold up.
that mean?"
Hold up. Hold up. Wait a minute.
And I was like, she's walking by something because she can't point, she can't look, she can't say anything. She's just like, and I feel like, had Christine and I been like right here, I would have got it. But we're all trying to figure it out. So when Nikki made what she needed to make, it wasn't the right thing. But I was like, I'm sorry, but I wish I could have helped you. Or when Lauren needed help with like her pasta, at one point, Gordon was like, and there's Mary Lou out of position again because I was always next to somebody helping them.
Right.
And at one point, I almost didn't finish plating up one of my dishes for one of the
Oh,
challenges.
dang.
And Christina was like, "Next time, put your mask on first." And I was like, "I'm so sorry, chef. I'll put my mask on." Because
Right.
my shit came out so sloppy.
Right. Do you
I
mind if we do a quick lightning round?
don't mind.
All right. Favorite late night snack?
Popcorn,
One ingredient you hate working with.
cauliflower,
Best city for food.
Oakland.
Most overrated food trend.
Most overrated food trend. At one point, it was all the fucking boards, dude. I hated all the boards. This is the butter board. This is the cheese board. This is the
Right.
cream cheese board. This is. I was like, I get it. Oh, and I hate charcuterie. I hate when people say that. Oh, I hate it so much.
Most underrated food trend.
Ooh, an underrated food trend. Let's see. I don't even know what is trending right now. I'm really on this. For a while, I was on that whole red chimichurri phase. I thought that
Right.
was dope. I was seeing it everywhere, and I'm like, yeah, fucking red chimichurri. So,
One chef you'd love to work with.
I'd love to work with Chef Christina. We've
Right.
worked like next to each other, but I've never worked with her. Um, let's see, Kwame Onwuachi. I'd love to work with him. Marcus Samuelson, that would be fantastic. Budalo.
Yeah.
I can name a bunch of chefs. I'm a big like chef fan. Dominic Crin. There's a lot of chefs that I'd like to work with.
Right. Favorite food spot. Fast food spot. Sorry.
Oh, favorite fast food spot? Um, Rallies.
Yeah. Favorite food spot now.
My favorite place to go eat. Ooh. Right now there's a place in San Antonio called Leche de Tigre,
Right.
and it's Peruvian food, and it's just so bright and acidic, and I'm fucking it up every day.
If you couldn't be a chef, what would you do?
I don't know. When COVID happened and I
Yeah.
lost my job for like 2 weeks, I was like, what do I know how to do? I don't know how to do anything. All
Right.
I can do is cook and eat.
Yeah.
It definitely wouldn't be an office job. Maybe I'd try to be a flight attendant. Yeah, I'd be a flight attendant so I could travel. Ooh, I would be a flight attendant for like a private jet. That
Right.
way I could just be like fun and flirty, and then when we land, I could go out and eat. That's it, a flight attendant.
Sweet or savory?
Savory.
Favorite curse word in the kitchen?
Fuck. That's the best one.
Steak temp.
Steak temp, medium rare.
Most overrated ingredient.
Most overrated ingredient. That's a good one that I get sick of seeing everywhere. I can definitely say parsley as a garnish. Parsley's overrated. Like, can we switch it? Let's start working on something else.
Better chef movie. Ratatouille or Chef?
Ratatouille. I think
One.
chef's unrealistic.
Right. One word or one food you absolutely refuse to eat.
That I refuse to eat
Yeah.
avocados. I'm allergic to them.
Okay. Favorite food. One favorite food to eat for the rest of your life.
I love. Can I say seafood? I like crab legs. Crab legs.
Okay. Gordon Ramsay in one word.
Intimidating.
Coffee or energy drinks?
Coffee or what?
Energy drinks.
Oh, coffee. I don't drink energy drinks at all. I am naturally hyped up. Like
Right.
I won't be able to handle myself.
What's the worst kitchen injury that you ever had?
Ooh, actually it's not that bad. I think the worst kitchen, it's always a burn. So either
Right.
a burn by steam. I had a really big steam burn on my arm once, And then on this one, I have really bad oil. Oh, wait. I don't know if you can see. I have a really large burn over here.
Yeah, under your
Uh,
shoulder.
hot oil spilled
Oh,
on me and it like took off
oh,
a few layers of skin
ah,
right here.
ooh,
And yeah, it was really bad.
oh, that's nasty.
Yeah, that's my worst kitchen injury.
Most chaotic station on the line.
Saute.
Uh, oh, this is gonna be a hard question for you. One celebrity you would love to cook for.
To cook for? Megan the Stallion.
Okay. What's harder, cooking or dating?
Dating. Cooking's easy.
Yeah. Biggest red flag in the kitchen.
Biggest red flag. There's a spin
Yeah.
that people do in the kitchen when you don't know what to do next and then you spin around because you're going like a full 360. That's always a red flag where I go and talk to that person or anyone in the kitchen that is standing. You
Right.
notice people in the kitchen when they don't move. So if somebody's not moving, that's always
Right.
a red flag. Like something either happened, you're going down, or you can't handle it.
Right. Tacos or burgers.
Burgers.
Song that instantly hypes you up.
Rake It Up by Yo Gotti.
In culinary school, most useless lesson.
Most useless lesson? I don't even remember. That's how useless it was. Let's see. I think like over fried foods, deep fried foods, I felt was useless.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
What dish are you tired of seeing on menus?
Caesar salad.
Most embarrassing cooking mistake?
Oh, the rice. The
Right.
rice. To this day, I can't live that down. The rice.
One thing you cannot live without in the kitchen.
Um, my fish spatula.
Favorite fast food French fries.
Ooh, Popeyes.
Favorite French fries ever.
I can't think of any other ones, but there's a place downtown called La Frite, and
Right.
it's a Belgian cafe. They have really good fries.
Nice. Tequila or wine?
Sparkling wine.
Nice. If you could ban one food trend forever, what would it be?
I don't know. I already told you how much I hated those fucking boards.
Yeah.
Hmm. I'm just gonna go back to the boards. I ban all the boards.
Right. What's your toxic trait in the kitchen? If you had to have one.
Me? A toxic trait?
What's your toxic trait
Um,
in the kitchen?
What is my toxic trait? I feel like I can't answer that one. I have to call my sous chef and just ask her, like, what's my toxic trait? I bet you
Right.
she's got a fucking list of them. I do tend to, I will leave things. I get hella distracted and I'll set something down and I'll never come back.
Right.
And they'll find my shit everywhere. So that's really bad.
Hardest thing to cook perfectly.
Can I go back to the rice? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, the fucking rice.
Yeah. If, excuse me, if Hell's Kitchen had a group chat, who would spam it the most?
Declan.
I had a feeling you would say that.
Declan would spam that. We used to have a group chat. We don't really talk anymore,
Right.
but Declan.
Right. One word chefs would use to describe you.
Loud.
Most underrated comfort food.
Most underrated comfort food? Potato chips.
Last one for the lightning round. What's your last meal on earth?
My last meal on earth, crawfish boil.
That was fun, wasn't it?
It was a really good time.
Yeah. Um, in in your opinion, what food opinion would start an online fight?
Huh. What food opinion would start an online fight? I don't really know. Steak temps. I will start a fight over. I think that there should only be three steak temps. I think
Right,
it should just be rare, medium, and well done. But when people start doing that medium rare plus shit, it drives me through the fucking roof.
right.
Can I curse? I'm sorry. I got real passionate.
Feel free. No worries.
Okay. It sends me. And then like
Yeah,
my restaurant does brunch. Do you know how many people don't know eggs? It gets on my goddamn nerves. I
Right.
can I have last week on Mother's Day, I got, can I have a sunny side up egg, but I don't want it runny. And I said, so what do you want? And then the server's like, that's what they said. And I said, it's your job to figure out what they want. So
What's
I,
okay.
no, that's it.
All right. Who's more terrifying, the chefs or the customers?
Um, I think they both have their instances where they're terrifying. So when it
Right.
comes for like front of the house themselves, I
Right.
think everything for them is just money related.
Right.
But it's also nobody wants a bad review. Everything is so review based now where it's like even if you didn't do anything wrong, whatever that guest says now becomes law. And so
Right.
that's really frustrating. When it comes to like being in the kitchen, it really depends on how much you actually love your job. Because if your chef makes intimidates you, you'll just end up leaving unless you really like that
Right.
job. And then you just realize that chef's probably yelling at you to make you better. But also, the chef is probably really stressed out.
Which celebrity definitely could not survive a dinner rush?
Which celebrity Chrissy Teigen? I know I
I
had that
think,
ready, didn't I?
yeah. Wow, that came out super quick.
I have a thing.
I feel like I want to know why, but I'm not sure if I really want to know why.
I had this whole thing with my best friend where it's like all of these celebrities were like coming up with like cookbooks and like becoming chefs and stuff, and it started to piss me off at one point because I'm like, just because these are something that you make at home, don't assume that you know my life. And they're all opening up restaurants, and it's like
Yeah.
this restaurant is opening up not because of your restaurant or not because of your food, it was because of your name.
Right.
And then I had to calm myself down. I was like, Mary, why are you being a hater?
Right.
How does this concern you? So I'm over that now, but I stand by Chrissy Teigen.
Damn. Shots fired.
So Chrissy Teigen.
What's the most chef behavior thing you do at home?
The most chef behavior thing that I do at home, I think is like the way that I organize my kitchen. All
Right.
the spices are front facing. It looks like a grocery store. Every
Right.
week I go through my refrigerator and I organize everything up. Trying to
Right.
buy a pegboard so I can hang up all of my utensils. I
Right.
just keep my kitchen kind of like the kitchen that I have at work.
Right. That's cool.
Thank you.
Um, what's something restaurant customers do secretly that drives you insane?
Besides the reviews, I think that they ask for unrealistic shit. And I also think that the customer assumes that they are the only customer, and that just like irks the hell out of me. Where there's a full restaurant that you can see around you. Like I've told you, I've done every aspect of the kitchen, so I've been a server before, and there's plenty
Yeah.
of times where like you have like four plates in your hand, but there are five people at the table, and you set all four plates down, and then one of them goes, "But I ordered this. I only got these two hands." Of
Right.
course, I can't say that. I'm like, ma'am, it's coming. Or when I've taken orders, they're like, are you gonna go get this? I'm still taking everybody else's order. I'm not just gonna leave and come back. And
Right.
sometimes, like the guest is not always right.
Right.
I think the guests are toxic.
Last few questions, I promise. What's the dream you still haven't accomplished yet?
I want to build a children's coloring book
Nice.
that involves like all of the chibis and the YouTube shorts that I have.
Right.
So that's what I want.
Right. Uh, what advice would you give someone who feels stuck chasing their dream or chasing their thing?
If you feel stuck, I think you should try to find a new way to attack it. I was reading what The Miracle Morning and like Atomic Habits and just
Right.
find something that motivates you and then just write it down. I
Right.
once it's written down, it's so much more attainable because then you can break it down step by step. So it's like I feel overwhelmed and I can't do this. This is what I want. So what's the first thing that you're going to do to accomplish it? Well, I'm going to write an outline. Okay, let's do
Right.
that first.
What advice would you give someone who wants to go into the culinary arts?
I would tell them to go to a restaurant that they like the food at and
Right.
then try to get a job over there. That's how I started. I just went to a restaurant that I liked to eat at, and then
Right.
it just kept me passionate about the food until I learned more.
Cool. With that being said, we're done. That's it.
We made
Um,
it.
we made it. And thank first of all, Mary Lou, thank you for being on the show. I really appreciate it.
You're
Um,
welcome. Once again, I'm so sorry for the runaround.
no worries, no worries. Is it okay if I put your social media information in the description box down
Yeah, I
below?
don't mind.
Of course. For those listening on YouTube, I'll put Mary Lou's Instagram, social media in the description box down below. If you're listening to us on Spotify or wherever media is sold, Chef Mary Lou, where can people find you? For those who don't,
You can find me on my Instagram at the Chef Mary Lou. My TikTok is the Chef Mary Lou.
right,
And then I also have a second Instagram called Geeks and Grubs where I do a lot of like geeky type things.
right. With that all being said, do you have any parting words before we finish for today?
Stay hungry, my friends.
Nice, perfect. Well, that's the show. Thank you for being on it. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Uh, if you're listening to us on Spotify, please also like, comment, subscribe. As always, have a good one. See you next episode. Peace.
Bye.